This is my character called Freedom. He's a beaten and scarred node with bloodshot eyes. He doesn't get enough sleep and is up all night thinking about how he'll slay his next dragon. It was in Helgen where he fled through the streets from the necromancer dragon that he realized how much he hates the dove and wants to dedicate his life to hunting them down and learning all he can about them in the process. I have some goals for the video. I want to hunt down every dragon marked on the Dragonstone of Bleak burrow. I want to track down all dragon lairs in the game and have the ultimate goal to kill a legendary dragon. Oh, and I'd also love to hunt down some unique dragons like Durnavir and the controversial choice of taking down Parthenax. Now that we've lost the pussies in the comments that can't get past the Parthenax death, let's get this thing going. The build I'm going for will be a crossbow-wielding forager of sorts, using crossbows to take down dragons and living off the wilderness gathering ingredients for mixing potions in the wild. I don't have any strict rules to follow, but the goals will be enough to shape this story. I fought my way through Helgen Keep, taking down Imperials that seem to have a problem with me. We will be playing on legendary difficulty like always, and enabling survival mode when we leave the keep. In survival mode, we can only spend a level up at a bed, but since we can't enable it until we leave, we can simply level how you would in the bog standard mode of the game by opening your inventory and going up into the skills menu. That's while in the keep, that is. I'll lose that benefit when we escape the keep. I'm putting an attribute point into stamina, and the perk point can go into archery's overdraw perk, so bows and crossbows do 20% more damage. That came at the perfect time because I've just spotted a bow fall to the ground from this Imperial. I'll swap it for a crossbow super early on, but for now this will be nice. Took advantage of the bow, killing some giant frostbite spiders and a bear before I made it out. I didn't need to kill the bear, but I'll take the experience into archery while I'm here. Found the back exit to the keep and exited to enable survival mode, meaning we have to eat to keep our stamina bar up and be able to use our weapons more effectively. Sleep to keep our magicka bar up and not have our screen go fuzzy. And keep warm to not deplete our health bar and freeze to death. We also can't fast travel in survival mode, but if we find carriages, then we can pay to use those to get around easier than walking. It's a really fun way to play. On my way to Riverwood, I passed by the free standing stones. You can activate one of these at a time to get some sort of buff. And I took the warrior one, so we gain experience faster for our warrior-based perks like archery. Made it to Riverwood, but I have no business I want to get into here. I have my sights firmly planted on getting a crossbow. I did pick off a wolf on the way to Whiterun from Riverwood and retreated to a river to ride away from the beast. One day, I could take him. But today is not that day. Rode the water to the foot of Whiterun, but I don't plan on furthering the main quest line just yet. I scavenged some blue mountain flowers and blue butterflies before going in. I'll use these to make a quick buck or two early on. At the gates to the city, a guard stops me saying official business only. City's closed with the dragons about. Not in that order. I said I had some information on the Helgen attack and was allowed right on in. I was hoping the drunken huntsman had some crossbows for sale. I'd seen some for sale right away in the past. Whether or not that was a bug, I don't know. But I didn't get that lucky this time, and I'm still stuck with the bows. The Dawn Guard DLC is the main way to get our hands on our weapon of choice. They were added in that DLC way back, but first I'm making a few poisons using the butterfly wings and flowers and selling them to the merchants around the town to get some easy early game coin. I didn't really buy anything with the gold I'd made, but it's good to have a little on hand ready to go. Let's get our butt over to the rift to get a crossbow. The Dawn Guard DLC, like I said, was the introduction to the crossbow. I don't really feel capable of taking on the DLC yet with us playing in legendary difficulty, but we can at least go pick up our first crossbow. You go east from Riften to reach a crack in the mountain, taking you to Day Spring Canyon. This place is as fun to see as it's fun to see. Okay, it's really pretty here. But I'm not sticking around. I'm gearing up to start my adventure and get my first dragon kill. These guys are vampire hunters. They have a fire in their belly for a different kind of beast. But we do have fire in common. Isran asks me to explore Dim Hollow Crypt to see what the vampires are poking around for there. And I'm given a crossbow to help take them out at a distance. I'm given some crossbow bolts, and I do hunt for some around the fort too. There is, however, an infinite amount you can get from collecting this guy's target practice bolts. It just takes a long time to build them up. I stayed to get a total of 100 bolts in my inventory before leaving. This should be enough to take on Bleak burrow. Hopefully. We'll have to do more at the fort later to get more upgrades and easy access to supplies. Might even get a companion friend from here later. But for now, we're off to get that Dragonstone. I took the Riften carriage back to Whiterun and rested up at the inn until morning. spending my second attribute point again on stamina, and the perk point getting put into sneak stealth perk, making me 20% harder to detect. I did check the Drunken Huntsman again, but no crossbow supplies for sale yet. I did buy a backpack from Bellathor, increasing my carry capacity, so that's something. I talked about the Dragonstone briefly, and while on my way, let's discuss it more. We need it to give to the court wizard in the main questline, who asks for help and is investigating the beasts. But I want to get a hold of it and make a note of all of the burial grounds marked on the stone so we can take out every dragon that rests at them. That is, of course, when Alduin the Necromancer Dragon starts raising them all from the dead. This is Bleak Falls. The Dragonstone is located in the main chamber at the end of the dungeon. I avoided all of the bandits on the outside, making it to the door. But I did slowly pick through the 2 bandits at the door's health, taking a cheap shot and retreating to safety to lose aggro. Rinse and repeat until they both go down. I took my time and was very careful getting around, only taking out the undead if I absolutely needed to. And if I did it from the shadows to avoid getting hurt. I am very weak right now, and my shots don't do much, so I can't be too ballsy here. I did get this golden claw off an elf. I retreated to a sleeping bag at the start of the dungeon to sleep and spent my next level up. But we got 3 perk points to spend, actually. I'm taking the second stealth for better sneaking, and then over to archery to take the second overdraw perk for 40% better bow and crossbow damage. And lastly, up the critical shot for a chance to do some critical damage with them. We use that claw here at this door to progress the way ahead by matching up the symbols on the door to the claw and inserting the sucker into the door. I said sucker. I said sucker. I'm joking. I said f***. Here's the main chamber just past the door. You get your first word of power from this wall, but after you take it, you wake a powerful Draugr overlord. And I'm not doing so hot on crossbow bolts. Bounced around the room, keeping them at bay with my crossbow. Comparing this thing to a regular bows do less damage, but can be fired much quicker. The crossbow also has a nice stagger effect attached to it, so it's a pretty nice weapon of choice. Having run out of bolts, I did swap to my backup bow to finish off the overlord. And there's the Dragonstone on its body. It has the dragon burial sites marked on it, and when they all start to be necromanced by the World Eater, we can find them around these areas. We can't keep the stone, but I'll map it all down for future reference when we go hunting. You also get an actual map a little bit later on. We still haven't talked to the Jarl of Whiterun yet. After we do, we'll get to fight our very first dragon. I tell him about the attack on Helgen, and offer to help his court wizard. We already have the Dragonstone he's asking for, so that's out of the way. But there's another dragon attack down the road at the watchtower.
There's no time to stand on ceremony, my friend. I need your help again.
I snuck down to the watchtower, and caught the beast returning for round 2. A rematch he will for sure regret taking. This was some guerrilla warfare style fighting going on. Fighting from the ground and in and on the watchtower. I ran out of arrows, and I'd like to finish him off with the bolts. So I have no choice but to pick up a hammer from a dead guard and start swinging up close. When its health was low enough, I switched to my crossbow and got the killing blow. Turns out our character is dragonborn, and we can consume dragon souls, killing them permanently, meaning Alduin can't revive them in the future.
You're dragonborn.
We use souls to unlock shouts. Now we have access to the unrelenting force shout we found in Bleak Falls. It's a shout that pushes enemies back. At this stage in its power, it just staggers enemies. Later on, it will send them flying. I took the dragon bones and scales to maybe use later, but probably not. I don't really have much interest in smithing in this playthrough. Oh, he also dropped this helmet with 20% more bow damage. It's light armor too, so that's really cool. Return to the Jarl, who says I should talk to some men called the Greybeards at High Hrothgar. That is at the very top of the map near the throat of the world. Oh, we also have a housecarl called Lydia, who will serve me. Won't have her as a follower forever, but I could use a hand for now. Oh my word, the Drunken Huntsman has crossbows and bolts for sale now. I took an orcish crossbow and purchased all of the bolts I could. This is great news. I'd also like to get a horse. Taming one sounds more up my character's alley, so I bought a wild horse map and went to find this red guy not far from Whiterun. To say it was fate would be an understatement. They buck you off until they give up and let you ride them, but this one didn't do it even once. It was love at first sight. I'm taking the carriage to Riften from here, even though I just got my own horse. It's faster this way and doesn't cost too much gold. Riften's a crap hole of a city, but I do love it. full of thieves and bad characters, but I'm just here to rest up, buy some food, and sell some poisons I'd made for gold. Had 2 perks to spend, and both went into Alchemy's Alchemist, so potions and poison mixing is way better. Crafted a load, and sold them off to anyone that would take them. Oh, I bought a hunter's backpack to replace my adventurer's one today too. It reduces my stamina from the last backpack, but it does give me 10% more bow damage, and in turn, crossbow damage. I like the walk up to the Greybeards from Riften. That's why I came this way. It's more direct, and sometimes I don't fancy using a horse to awkwardly climb this massive mountain from Whiterun's end. The Greybeards are masters of the voice, and teach me not only the second word to Unrelenting Force, but the first word to Whirlwind Sprint, an entirely new shout, allowing me to perform a quick dash forward. They also give me a task to get the Horn of Jurgen Windcaller for them from a dungeon as a trial off near Morthal. The dungeon, as I just said, is near the city of Morthal, and should be doable for our character. Maybe, hopefully, potentially. There's a necromancer outside the dungeon with lots of reanimated friends. I focused primarily on the necromancer from the side, while my horse had his attention. Taking down that one necromancer kills the magic in the others, and they fall to the ground not long after the mage. I head on in to deal with the dungeon. This place forces you to take advantage of the new Whirlwind Sprint shout as you go. But there's also plenty of other mages and undead to deal with too. If I didn't have Lydia, my housecarl, I'd struggle here a lot. Just don't tell her I said that. Early on into the dungeon, I hit archery level 40, allowing us to take the 3rd overdraw perk, so our crossbows now do 60% more damage. This helped a lot in this location, especially with the consistent increased level of Draugr we were dealing with. Lots more of the restless kind, and not so much of the pathetic kind. This area is the area you need to use the shout in. Before I went down, I picked off some skeletons while I had the high ground. Then I whirlwinded over these pressure plates. There's a well-hidden shout in this room too. Going deep down into the room, you can become ethereal. Ethereal. I don't know. Using the shout changes our form into one that can't harm or be harmed. I, however, don't have a dragon soul to spend on it to unlock it. But I have it added to my menus if I want to unlock it later. Taking advantage of Whirlwind Sprint again here. I'm running to lower the gates while passing some kind of detector rocks and then dashing to get past the gates before they close. A few nasty bugs to deal with, but after that, we make it to the final room. Super epic introduction to this room. But there's no horn inside. Instead, there's a letter that reads, Dragonborn, I need to speak to you. Urgently. Rent the attic room at the Sleeping Giant Inn in Riverwood, and I'll meet you there. A friend. I'll head straight there. I'm gonna hop on a carriage just outside Solitude and rest up at Whiterun before doing that though. Not really heading straight there. We have a perk point to spend. I'm distributing some of the attribute points into health now too, but mostly stamina still. For the perk point, I'll take Eagle Eye, so press and block while aiming now zooms in my view, making for well-aimed shots to be taken. Me and my horse made our way up to Riverwood, where the Sleeping Giant Inn is located. I rented the attic room from Delphine.
Attic room, eh? Well, we don't have an attic room, but you can have the one on the left.
The attic room thing was just so she knew who I was when I arrived. She hands over the horn she took, I was sent to retrieve for the Greybeards. And we have a chat about what the heck she's playing at. She's a member of a dragon hunting group called the Blades. Sounds like my kind of people in an ideal world, if she wasn't super insufferable to be around. She wanted to see if the news is true, and that I really can consume a dragon soul and kill it for real. Oh, this is where she points out the dragons weren't just gone somewhere, and are now returning. They've been dead all of this time, and are now being brought back to life. She suspects Kynesgrove will have a revival soon, and that's where I'm to prove my powers, and slay a dragon, a named dragon, which I'm super excited about. Kynesgrove's a tiny little location with a few people roaming, but atop of the hill rests a powerful beast sleeping. Alduin's here, and wakes the monster from his slumber. I take a cheap shot, right to his face. Alduin flees, leaving me to the dragon's wrath. I found some foliage to hide in, and took aim from here with my crossbow. Delphine and Lydia are here, so if we play our cards right, we won't have to take a hit at all. This one's called Solokner, if that's how you say it. And after his death, we can check off a grave on the Dragonstone. When you manage to take down half a dragon's health, it'll land and not be capable of taking off again. He's a sit-in duck. A big sit-in duck. And it's hard to miss my shots. It's dead, and I can consume its soul to remove it from the world for good. Delphine's happy and says the next step is finding out who's behind this. Even though it's just Alduin playing Puppet Master, she wants us to see if the Thalmor are behind it. I am not ready for this quest at all. She wants me to go to a high-profile Thalmor party with a fake invitation. But things will kick off there, and I won't be coming back out of there alive if I go just yet. Spent some time over in Markov. I'm training sneak at the Warrens there while being tired as all get out. I made it to level 40 sneak so we could take the next stealth level. I'm not sure how I'm going to manage that party quest, but I know being more sneaky will help. Also, you know that phrase, money can't buy you happiness? Well, in Skyrim it absolutely can. Legendary difficulty is rough early on, and getting your hands on as much gold as possible will give you a happier life. A massive money-making potion involves garlic. You can find lots of garlic in homes around holes, while technically stealing. No, you know what? I didn't set any rules. Yeah, I'm stealing garlic, and I'm not sorry about it. Nordic barnacles is another ingredient needed. You get some in the water, up by Dragonreach, but we'll try to get more here soon. I hear Solitude has a monstrous amount of garlic, so let's head on up there. And man, was that an understatement. I'm finding so much of the stuff here. I went through every single home and building in the hold. I even hit the freaking jackpot. I found a Daedric crossbow that I believe is always here. I'm not too sure. It was here in a previous playthrough, I did too. I ended up with 72 garlic when all was said and done. Garlic's the easiest ingredient to get in this recipe. But the hardest? The hardest is the Nordic barnacles. At least for me, it felt like the hardest. I imagine not playing in survival mode would make this so much easier. But I went to Dawnstar and proceeded to check along the water around the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary door. The water is stone cold. We'll be very, very dead if we stay in it for too long. I did find a few on boats and dipping into the water briefly, but it's a little bit frustrating getting it with my survival mode handicap. Checking around some warmer waters like Solitude's docks, I didn't find any. I might have missed some, but I couldn't find any. The next place I looked was the Rift. Around the docking area on the outside of the city did have some, but I didn't find that many. I checked the inside of the city too, but only really found some dead bodies. Can't mix those into potions. You can, but not the bodies I found. I ended up with 27 Nordic barnacles by the end of my search. Not too bad, but not too great. The final ingredient is salmon roe. If you follow the river between Riverwood and Whiterun, you find a lot of salmon jumping up the river to lay their eggs. You can catch them and gather salmon roe to make a super powerful potion by mixing the 3 items I've been hunting. This is a little bit annoying trying to grab them, but I'll take this over the cold I had to endure getting the Nordic barnacles. I am really into the farming in this game. It's not difficult, but it's very profitable, but not much work put into it. With this playthrough, I wanted to avoid planting and harvesting my own ingredients. Instead, I wanted to go out to get my ingredients in the wild. I got about the same amount of salmon roe as I did Nordic barnacles. I'll die on the hill of blue mountain flowers and butterfly wings, being a really good moneymaker if you're not using a farm. Not the most expensive, but you find those 2 items while out and about all of the time. And as I went, I invested perks into alchemy's skill tree to make the powerhouse potions consisting of salmon roe, Nordic barnacles, and garlic even more powerful and expensive. Now, with my potions in hand, I wanted a way to train speech. A dark elf in the Grey Quarter Windhelm is great for speech training. He's concerned an item he's acquired had been stolen and wants it returned to its owner quietly undetected. I put the item in its owner's dresser in town, and now this legend will train us in speech for helping him out. I need speech to be level 50 for the merchant perk. You can train 5 times per character level. So all you have to do is some well-timed training sessions before level up to power level the crap out of this thing. Now that the skill's level 50, we can take haggling for 10% better buying and selling power, then allure for 10% better prices with the opposite sex, and lastly merchant to sell any type of item to any type of trainer, meaning the expensive potions we have can be sold to blacksmiths and wizards. This is amazing because I can buy out all of their smithing and enchanting resources and just get all of my gold back with those expensive moneymakers. I spent the next day working with blacksmiths to raise my smithing skill and get a hold of lots of crafted daggers to enchant. I did die today too, through my own stupidity. I thought I'd be fine, landed in that water. I was not. Winterhold's the place to go for soul gems. So many mages to screw out of their precious gems over there. I took Ferelda's test to gain access to the mages college here by casting a healing spell on her. Now we can buy her gems along with everyone else's in this place. I enchanted all that I could and invested into enchanting as I went to make the things I craft more powerful. All of this is progressing towards me getting some good sneak gear. I made it to level 50 free enchanting before I left. And I have 3 points into enchanter and took insightful enchanter too for 25% stronger skill enchantments on armor. I don't need anything crazy to work with. I'm not huge into armor yet. If I can get some stuff that'll keep me undetected at the Thalmor party, I'll be happy. And today's the day we do just that. In Whiterun, I bought gear to enchant. I got 28% sneak on everything I could. I'm looking and feeling great. Will it hold up? Only one way to find out. Don't mind me. Just sitting outside the Drunken Huntsman while I make a chicken sandwich. I wanted to buy some crossbow bolts since I was running extremely low, but just my luck, the jerk doesn't have any for sale right now. So I left for about 2 seconds before returning to beat the out of the Drunken Huntsman. Doing so after making a quick save will reset his inventory, and now he does have some for sale. Some people won't like it. I won't make a habit out of doing it. Oh, cry me a river if you're upset about it. We're ready to take on the Thalmor. Let's go see if they know anything about the Dragon Crisis. I'm gonna assume if you're still watching by this point, you're enjoying the video. If that's the case, I would appreciate a like. It costs you nothing, and it lets me know you want to see more videos just like this one. Thanks for watching. Up in Solitude, you can meet a wood elf called Malborn, who sadly will likely die in the next 5 minutes. But he's a stand-up guy helping us out. You can give him all of the items you want smuggled into the high security party. I gave him my crossbow, my bolts, armor, and some food. Then went to meet Delphine at the stables outside the city to get my new spiffy party clothes. And my fake invitation. We get carted off to the Thalmor embassy. We're in enemy territory. And I'm so ready to get this over with to get back to slaying dragons. After this, we'll take a break and go hunting. Now that I feel more capable. Maybe. I might forget after we've done this. I show off my fake invitation to the guard at the door and immediately cause a distraction, giving a drunk some more alcohol so I can sneak off with Malborn, who's working the bar, and get my smuggled gear. I'm locked and loaded, and so are these Thalmor. Loaded up with my crossbow bolts in places you wouldn't like me to explain. I was very sneaky here, taking shots from the shadows and making sure to not get spotted. Getting aggro would be the death of me, so we can't afford to go in crossbows blazing this time around. I didn't find any information tying them to the return of the dragons, but I did find out that they seem to think the Blades might have something to do with it, funny enough. They're trying to locate a lost member of the Blades called Esbern, who's an expert on the flying beasts. Malborn's dead, by the way. I didn't catch her on camera, so you'll have to take my word for it. I escaped out of a trapdoor in the embassy after pickpocketing the key to it from one of the elven gear lovers. Now we need to get back to the Sleeping Giant Inn at Riverwood to tell Delphine what we'd found out.
You made it out alive, at least. Your gear's safe in my room, as promised. Did you learn anything useful?
I told her what I read about the Thalmor and Esbern. She's shocked to hear Esbern's even alive, and wants us to find him before the Thalmor do. The Thalmor seem to think he's hiding out in Riften down in the Ratways somewhere, so that's where we can go to start looking. Got a level up to spend. Taking steady hand, so zooming with a bow or crossbow now slows time by 25%. It's a fun perk and a somewhat practical one, allowing me for more time to think while taking shots at dragons. The game wants you to talk to Brynjolf about looking for Esbern, but he wants you to start his Thieves Guild quests before getting into it. I have no interest in doing those right now, so I'm skipping this step and going down into the Ratways without his information. There's some scumbag enemies to deal with on the way. And I'm realizing just how much I really don't want a follower in here. Lydia's catching aggro and attracting too much attention. We'll go it alone. Eventually. Potentially. Probably not. But I did make it to the Ragged Flagon where the Thieves Guild hang out. And went right into the Warrens to find the Thalmor ahead of me. They're tough, but no match for our character anymore. I got to Esbern before the elves did, and convinced him to come out of hiding to help with the dragon menace. I think my character would relate to these guys the most, even though, like I said, Delphine is super insufferable. I'm Team Blades in this one. I escorted Esbern to Riverwood Sleeping Giant Inn to meet with Delphine. They're happy to see each other. But me? I'm happy another epic dragon encounter is just around the corner. We're hoping we can get some information on how the old Nords defeated Alduin in the past by reading Alduin's Wall. It has all of the dragon lore recorded on it, and it's located over in Markov's Skyhaven Temple. I got some interesting books here on the table about dragons, and made my way to Whiterun's carriage to catch a ride to the horrid reach. Had to rest up when I made it. Survival mode has taken its toll on me, and I'm both tired and hungry. Calfspire, just outside Skyhaven Temple, has a dragon burial mound nearby that guarantees a dragon encounter during this quest to find Alduin's War. I see 2 dragons, but by the time I get done with the first, the second is nowhere to be seen. There's a lot of Forsworn weirdos here, but the threat is the ancient dragon roaming the skies, so I'm locked in on this guy first. There's help from all of the other NPCs around, including the Forsworn, but I'm gonna get the final blow. Hopefully. I had the high ground taking slow-mo shots from the side, but it started to feel like a not very good position while the dragon sits on the other side of the freaking map. So I got a little bit closer and planted my butt to a tree to take shots and watched as the dragon fell out of the sky crashing into the ground. I stayed put and took cheap shots from afar while the dragon sat, doing not a single damn thing about it. It's dead, and I can consume its soul and take its drops to turn into some sick gear later. Except not really. I went into this planning on making some dragon bone gear, but I really don't feel like I want to go the smithing route in this playthrough. I then dealt with what's left of the Forsworn before proceeding into the mountain. There's some simple puzzles in here you have to go through to make it to Skyhaven Temple. And when you do make it, you're set with the task to open the door by giving up some blood to open the blood seal door. I'm pretty sure only the Dragonborn can open this door. This place serves as the headquarters for the Blades, and it's pretty cool to walk around. But the main piece is Alduin's Wall. It shows the old Nords used the shout to defeat Alduin in the past, so that's a start. The Blades know nothing about the shout. They say maybe the Greybeards can help. Despite the two sides not liking each other, we might need their knowledge. I did stop by Whiterun's Drunken Huntsman for more bolts first. I bought about 100 total, and left to climb the mountain back up to High Hrothgar. The Greybeards are happy to see I finally got the horn of Rügen Windcaller, that I honestly completely forgot about. They gave me the last word to the Unrelenting Force shout as a reward. This shout allows me to knock enemies back with an insane amount of force. They aren't happy, however, to see that I've sided with the Blades, and say they forced them to get involved in things that I'm not ready for yet. They can't teach me the shout I'm after, but say maybe their leader, Parthenax, can help. They gave me a shout called Clear Skies to help me control the harsh weather and get further up the mountain to speak to Parthenax. This sucker's the enemy, a dragon, who I can't kill yet, but I can smack him in the face with the back of my crossbow. We talk for a while and he gives me a new shout called Fire Breath that does what it says on the tin. And then he tells me too he can't help with teaching me the shout, but maybe the Dragon Elder Scroll can help. I'm to either talk to Esbern or the Greybeards about how to proceed. With me being best buds with the Blades, I'm obviously gonna pick Esbern back at Skyhaven Temple. I made my way back through Skyhaven Temple to talk to the old-timer.
Ah, you're back. I hope you've made some progress on tracking down this shout we need to defeat Alduin.
I've made progress, but there's still more to come. Doing the main story quests will progress the dragon burial mound situation too. The deeper we are into the quest line, the more mounds would have been messed with by Alduin. So I'm trying to pump through these quests to get those dragons still sleeping. And of course Alduin is on my hit list too. Esbern thinks we should ask at the Mage's College if they know anything about the scroll. There's an Arcanium there with plenty of books that might help. We're gonna need a lot more ammo than we have to tackle the upcoming Blackreach location, however. So I made a pit stop at Whiterun again to buy up more crossbow bolts. I bought all the Drunken Huntsman had for sale, and pushed on up to the College of Winterhold. This trip kinda sucked because I'd lost my horse around the town somehow. There's no carriage rider here to take me out of the town, so riding my own horse is the best way to get around in the cold. We'll have to be extra careful now about that guy. I talked to the Orc at the Arcanium, and shockingly, he didn't have the legendary scroll. He did, however, bring me all of the books he has on Elder Scrolls. And after more talking, I get an objective to find someone called Septimus, who was last seen heading for the ice fields behind Winterhold. He's an expert on the scrolls, and if we find him, he could help us hugely in our hunt for one. But finding him needs to be done without a horse now. The temperature up here is brutal. But if we're quick and careful out here, we can make it to the iceberg easily enough. He's a little bit lost in his mind, but we find out looking at a place called Blackreach could lead me to a scroll. Now for the grueling walk back to Winterhold. I could go straight for Blackreach if I had a horse, but I need to warm up again before heading back out in the cold on foot. Warmed at the Frozen Hearth Inn and found my stupid horse hiding behind a house. You little jerk. At least the trip to Blackreach will be easier. Blackreach is beautiful and can be found in the ruins of Alftand. I got humbled in here real quick with a death, leading me to take a more sneaky approach to the location. Remember when I was complaining about Lydia getting in my way? Well, she's missing. And now I'm missing her taking all of my aggro from me. That's some karma. And this sneaking around is not going my way still. It was very rough in here. I spent 80% of the time spotted, but somehow dodged a lot of damage from the Dwarven machinery and blind Falmer to make it to the hugely impressive Blackreach. There's a lot to this place, but I'm going for that bell in the distance. We can shout at the bell to call a unique dragon encounter. The beast flies overhead, and we have a hunt on our hands at Blackreach. This was a pretty scary encounter. If he sees me and gets a hit in, I'm screwed. So we have to stay hidden here. Hiding behind rocks as it tries to sniff me out and taking shots when it backs up. I put some water between me and the fire-breathing monster. It's confused the heck out of him, and he's started to do the hiding now. I could still hit him from behind his rock, and he was dead before I could say Todd Howard's never releasing Elder Scrolls 6 for another 10 years of milking the crap out of this game. I take the dragon's bones and soul, and carry on to get my Elder Scroll in this fancy room. A mildly complicated adventure leading us here, but Alduin isn't long from my crossbow now. On my way to the throat of the world to see what this scroll could teach me. I gave the scroll a read in the time wound and got shown a scene from the past where the old Nords fought Alduin here. They used Dragonrend to bring him down, but couldn't defeat him in combat, so they used an Elder Scroll to send him forward in time instead, merely delaying the end of the world. With that, I'm taught the dragon crippling shout called Dragonrend, but leaving the scroll scene, I'm met by the World Eater here to end this rivalry. I wasn't sure I was ready for this fight yet, but now that it started, I'm feeling fine here. Paarthurnax is helping, but he's weaker than Alduin. So if we don't get in a lot of damage, he'll be so hurt that he'll be useless, and Alduin will turn his sights back on me. He uses this rock fall attack that can be stopped by clear skies. I did eat a rock to the face and went for the spin of a lifetime. I tried using Dragonrend often enough that he just barely took off, only stopping to occasionally use clear skies. Halfway through the fight, I spent a level up on Archery's Overdraw to increase crossbow damage, and proceeded to plant as many bolts into this soul sucker's face from afar as I could. But once his health's depleted, he brags he can't be slain here, and flees, leaving me to find out where he's run off to. I'm embarrassed to say I tried to kill Paarthurnax while here, but he humbled me pretty good. I'll be back to deal with him in the future. But now, let's go talk to Esbern about what to do next. Esbern's still over in the Reach at Skyhaven Temple. I woke him and told him what had gone down. He says about how Whiterun's Dragon Reach houses a dragon trap on its roof, and that we could use it to get some information out of one of Alduin's followers. He also mentions how Paarthurnax was Alduin's right-hand man back in the day, and should pay for it. Can't wait to get out of the Reach. Let's go see if the Jarl of Whiterun will let us use that trap. Waking people up a lot lately. The Jarl says he wants to help, but can't with the threat of a war still looming over his city. He wants peace between the Imperials and the Stormcloaks. At least a temporary truce until the Dragon Menace is dealt with. The Greybeards aren't happy again. They don't want to get involved in war, but we need their help since both sides respect the Greybeards. It's decided we can hold the meeting between the two sides here at High Hrothgar. We just have to get both sides to agree to come here now. Taking a carriage over to Windhelm first. Ulfric's at the Palace of the Kings here in the city. He agrees we should have a truce for now until Alduin's dead. And over in Solitude, General Tullius is on the same page. They're both gonna head for High Hrothgar to have a meeting. Worst thing about the main questline in survival mode is the no fast travel walk up and down the mountain. It doesn't take too long really, but it's just an annoying trip up this thing constantly. Everyone's made it. I'm to help them make temporary peace by being a middleman, bartering for both sides. I tried to be fair, and peace was made, at least for now. And that's when my game crashed on me, and I'm sent back to my desktop. I did learn a dragon's name called Odahviing. I made sure to buy some crossbow bolts before arriving at Whiterun's Dragon Reach on day 31. I told the Jarl I'm ready and went to call the beast. I got off a cheap shot on him while he swooped to get the guard, and it's game on. Casted Dragon Rend to force him to land and walked his butt back into the trap to get him caught. He says he'll take me to an active portal to Sovngarde Alduin's hiding out inside of if I release him. So, I do. We ride off to Skaldorfen, a massive dungeon area full of Draugr, and both Draugr and dragons on the outside. I find out very, very quickly how not ready I am for this place. I don't have much health, I'm not really sneaky enough, and I don't do enough damage in the slightest. So, I reloaded a save, and I'll have to come back when I'm more prepared. I did take on a weaker dragon at Riverwood today. Made me feel better. This is more my level. I spent the rest of this failed day gathering resources for potions and buying stuff to further my character's power. Added soul trap to my crossbow and harvested the souls of Skyrim's wildlife population. I don't think we'll get smithing maxed out at all. I've already mentioned that. But alchemy and for sure enchanting will get worked on. I'd like the perk that allows for 2 enchants on gear, so I can have sneak and archery enchantments. That means we have to get enchanting to level 100. With that in mind, I hit up Winterhold to trade with all of the mages for soul gems. Enchanting daggers I craft to level up enchanting, and then selling the daggers to mages to fund my grinding. That leads me into 1 soul trapping day, racking them up to boost up to level 100 enchanting. I'm nearly done, honest. I'm nearly done. I did spot a dragon over Rorikstead while soul hunting. This is 2 birds, 1 stone with this one. We have this map, and similar to the Dragonstone having all of the mounds marked on them, this thing does too. You get it from Delphine's hideout in the Sleeping Giant Inn. This dragon is at this location, so we can check this sucker off. But actually I won't. I'll go around all of the mounds later, and I'll check it off later. Should be just 1 more day of working on skills to get where we need to be. That's it! Level 100 enchanting. I'm taking perks all the way up to extra effect so we can have 2 enchantments on items. I'm also taking the 2nd critical shot perk and sneaks backstab, which is flippin' useless to us, but we need it to eventually get deadly aim. This is what a character's armor will be looking like. I like that it looks like a hunter's loadout. It's not super powerful, especially considering we've not touched the light armor skill or the smithing tree, but we're going for a stealth crossbow build, so we don't really need to do that. Just need to get it all enchanted now. I went sneak and archery on everything I could, and my Daedric crossbow does 184 total damage. Bought up some more crossbow bolts, and bam! I'm back riding Odaving to Skaldorfen for my revenge. Except, not really. I got obliterated pretty quick on the outside. I still don't feel very strong, surprisingly. I had to skip a lot of enemies out here. I speed ran the outer area and into the inner area of Skaldorfen, where things went much smoother. The Draugr in here are easy to stay undetected from, and can be taken down at a slow pace easily. Then when we make it back through to the outside, I'm screwed again, and I ran like my life depended on it, because it very much does. Speed ran past the Dragon's Priest, who I'd like to have killed, but oh well. And into the active portal. Alduin's in here, along with a lot of fog, and his soul snare he's set to feed here. This meathead wants me to prove myself in combat before I can progress to the Hall of Valor, where the old Nord heroes are hanging out dead. I just kept my distance with my crossbow. I'd stand no chance in hand-to-hand combat with this guy, but I can work his health bar like this to gain access. The Nords offer up help, taking down Alduin. We go outside, and I equip my best crossbow bolts ready for the fight. And we combine our Clear Sky shout to clear the fog and force Alduin to challenge us, where his Rockfall attack murdered the crap out of me almost instantly. You can stop Rockfall with Clear Skies like I said earlier, and then use Dragon Rend to force him to the ground to do damage. The Nords are down there, meaning Alduin doesn't really target us at all in this fight. All we have to do is watch out for the fallen rocks. The bone mold bolts are working great, and his health is already low enough where he can't fly anymore. And the second half falls quicker than the first. I watch from a bush as Alduin explodes and turns into ash. The biggest kill I've had so far. And as a dragon hunter, it likely won't be topped. I get sent back to Tamriel, and I'm in enemy territory. I'm surrounded by dragons, and as much as I'd like to kill the crap out of all of them, I'm not in the position to do so. I'll come back to kill Parthenax when it's clear here, and not so cold. I'm sick. Resting isn't as effective right now, so I'm off to a shrine to get blessed. Being blessed isn't for the poor. It costs 100 gold each time at shrines, but it heals all of my illnesses. Now it's prime dragon hunting season. Alduin's dead, and all of the dragon burial grounds have had time to be revived throughout the main questline. The mound map shows there's one right around here-ish on the map. Let's go find it. Not all of the dragon burial mounds will have dragons at them. Some, like this one I'm heading for, will be abandoned, but I still want to visit all of them. Maybe I'll spot a different dragon on the way. I might even kill the dragons at the ones that aren't abandoned and just not realized, so I'm checking all of them to make sure. This one seems dead. And you know, now that I think about it, uh-oh, game's crashed. Yeah, the skies are clear here. Let's move on to the next one and see if we have any more luck there. Next one's really close, and Google says it's not abandoned. There it is. It's an ancient dragon too. It looks to be getting into some drama with some stuff down there. What stuff? I have no idea. They're too far away to see. Casting Dragon Rend to keep the grounded dragon away from the skies and hiding behind a tree while I have the high ground to dodge its long-ranged attacks. It started to eerily walk up the hill, and I had to back up and flee a little bit because I panicked. When I returned, I did so while hidden and finished it off from afar with some sneak attacks, getting a pretty epic cinematic kill. This thing's bones will bag me a pretty penny, and its soul will make for a fantastic meal. I sold its carcass to Solitude and rested up before moving on to the next hunt. Bird Mounds near Morthal. Google says it's abandoned, but I'll go see for myself. It's freezing up here, and it's probably for the best there's no dragon, because the fight would have had me freezing to death. I looked around, but as expected, nothing. Not a single dragon in sight. There's one up here by an Imperial camp I don't see marked on the map, which is weird. I wonder if we can get the Imperials' help with this one, because it's active. And I can already see the beast way before finding its burial site. This fight was pretty epic. It crashed in front of us, and it's game on. I didn't leave horseback for this one. I rode around, taking shots, dodging the ice breath spewing from its mouth. The Imperials are making good distractions for me. This one's a blood dragon, so it's a little easier than the last ancient dragon we fought. The Imperials here don't like that I'm around either, and as soon as we're done, we'll have to leave the area to avoid getting on their bad side. The flying gecko is dead, and its days of flying are over. I take its drops to sell, and make a quick escape from the Imperial camp to find its burial site. Its dragon has been slain, and 2 goats now call it home. Make that 1 goat. Make that just 1 goat. I'm on my way to challenge Parthenax for real this time. We have Lydia as bait, and I'm ready to piss everyone off in the comments like you wouldn't believe. Oh, I accidentally bumped into a burial mound, and it looks abandoned, so no dragon to fight here. I'm going from Riften's direction to the throat of the world, so I'm hoping at Iverstead there's an inn to rest at, because my vision's shot with being tired. I really can't remember if there is an inn there. Now that I'm here, I remember there is one just over here. I can't read the name. Not a flipping clue what that says because I can't see it. I stumbled my way into a bed, and when I woke, made my way up to the 7,000 steps to challenge Parthenax at the throat of the world. His time, after all of these years, has finally come. I skipped an hour just to make sure my backup's here, in the form of Lydia, and got off some sneak attacks on the beast to do some pretty massive damage before he even started to fight back. Parthenax is a controversial kill. He's beloved by the community. I didn't realize quite how loved he was until I killed him for the first time in one of my videos, and everyone lost their crap over it. Here we are again, having another go at the beast. Dislike the video if you don't like it. I'm here for this SOB's bones to sell to Belethor. He goes down in a dramatic cinematic kill. That's party snacks down for the count. And is that Odivin up there? I'm not sure. It does look like him. I tried shooting at him, but I couldn't land a shot. Dragon Rend also didn't work. He's just refusing to land, which is annoying. But when I call Odivin, this dragon starts circling the skies differently, so it's gotta be him. I went down off the mountain to challenge a giant's camp, to then call Odivin. He shows up to help the fight, but little did he realize he was about to be betrayed. I turned my sights to the beast, and got off as many bolts into his scaly hide as I could. But this jerk's classed as essential, and he can't die, sadly. That's one we can't kill. But I tried. There's another mound near Whiterun, however. I arrived around midnight at the very start of day 40. This is a frost dragon that I admit got the better of me the first time around. But the second attempt, I had the lizard kept on its toes. Literally. He's grounded by a dragon rend and stands no chance against my Daedric crossbow. It's dead. And that's the sick mound checked and cleared. Having a little bit of a break from the mounds above ground to hunt a mound not exposed to the sky. One in a dungeon, actually. To get access to the mound in question, we need to work through the mage's questline all the way to Labyrinthia. It's a unique dragon for sure, but before we get there, we have some work to do. Carriaged over to Winterhold to continue with the mage's business. Last we left off, we were to have our first lesson with Tolfdir, learning about ward spells. Something I couldn't give a hoot about, but it needs to be done to get to that dragon. It's field trip time! The class is off to the ruins of Sarthal to see if we can learn a thing or two about magic there. I arrived just before midnight and entered the dungeon with my fellow classmates. The start of this place is pretty tame. There's no one dead, no danger, just some of that boring education stuff. But I pulled an amulet from this wall that locks me behind bars. I put on the amulet and shot through the wall I got the amulet from, revealing a more unsafe area to this place. Full of Draugr to deal with and puzzles to solve. All lead into this room with a mysterious orb and an invincible Draugr. Invincible until Tolfdir discovered the ball is the reason for its invincibility. He fiddled with the orb to make the Draugr vulnerable again, and both me and Lydia worked on its health bar until the jerk was dead. For the second time. Dead. Tolfdir wants to stay with the orb while I go back to the college to... Uh-oh, wrong button. Where to go tell the Archmage at the college of our discovery. He says I should research the subject, and sent me to the Arcanium to do some reading. The orc running the place says a mage called Orthorn ran off with any relevant books on the subject. He joined some mages that betrayed the crap out of him once they got the books. Let's go see if we can retrieve the books. I'm gonna stop by Whiterun and rest up here before heading off to the location the orc says the mages are at. It's in a place called Felglow Keep, and it's a pretty long one, so we better make sure we're in good health to get through there. I had brown rot sickness, so I cured it, getting blessed at a shrine, and slept at the Banded Mare. I did go looking for a smithing enchant in the morning to maybe work on improving my crossbow a little bit, but I'm not sure I care about being OP in this run at all. Being honest, we're obviously doing the classic stealth archer character with a crossbow hunter vibe. So I don't care about having a weapon that does an insane amount of damage really. The near 200 we got is very, very reasonable for slaying dragons quietly. So I gave up the search pretty quick. And on my way to Felglow Keep, I ran into the biggest bar fight imaginable. Tons of bandits causing havoc, with giants and mammoths. I got involved, but only because I didn't want my horse left just outside the keep with these guys having a fight. Picked off enemies between the carnage already going down. Made sure none were left with my ride. Oh, I did also put a perk point into the final overdraw perk, so my crossbow now does just over 200 damage. Now for the keep. This place is pretty easy pickings, especially after going back into the skill trees to take the deadly aim perk. So instead of sneak attacks doing 2 times damage, they now do 3 times damage with my crossbow. These guys stood no chance for my dragon hunter. This questline is also going to get dropped the second we kill that dragon, by the way. I don't plan on finishing the mage's questline, which might upset some of you people. The dragon I'm aiming for isn't even that tough, but it's a unique one I want to go take down. I made it to the end of this location and planted a crossbow bolt into the mage's leader and took the books back for the college. Brought the books back to the orc, and well, I just continued on with the questline. Like I said, we're abandoning the heck out of these guys when we get that dragon's name undermined, so the actual story doesn't matter for the video. I'm just having fun blasting Moncano with unrelenting force whenever I see him. I talk to a flashlight. Why? It doesn't matter. Basically, Moncano will betray the mages and look to use the orb's power. We would stop him using the Staff of Magnus if we finished this line of quests, but we won't. Made sure to get my character healthy and rested for our run through the ruins of Mazolf. It's important why I'm going there to somebody, but I'm not that somebody. Mazolf is some dwarven ruins full of Dwemer machinery and Falmer the deeper you get. They aren't too difficult to deal with anymore. Ultimately, I was led to a map that showed the location of the Staff of Magnus I'll never see. It's in Labyrinthia, the place I started this questline trying to get access to. We need a special item to enter through the front door of the place. Maybe we could have cheesed our way through Labyrinthia sooner without doing all of this, but if that's a thing, then I'm not aware of how to do it. We better return to the mages so we can get that dragon killed finally. This place is bone cold. That, paired with the awkward walk away from Winterhold, I can't wait to be done coming up here. Ancano has now started to try to claim the orb's powers. He's locked himself away in the hall with the orb, and when we break through his barriers, he blasts the Archmage with some light, and he's very dead. Very dead. Tossed his corpse from the college window, and went to defend the town from some magical anomalies that have showed up with the other mages. I missed practically every shot. Slippery little suckers that aren't as big as my usual flying targets. Even missed the cinematic kill animation. If I don't laugh, then I'll cry. Ah, this is more my speed. A much easier target. A frost dragon has turned up, and it's game on. While I let the other mages faff around with the anomalies, I'll focus on this guy for a bit. It's only a frost dragon, so it's not the toughest kind, but anything to not have to try to land a shot on those other guys for a minute. Its health's low enough that it's now grounded and doesn't have access to his PlayStation anymore. And his health bar was the next thing to leave him. The that's a hard word. The anomalies were eventually killed. I got a little better at making shots on them, but I'm glad that's over. Now I'm to get over to Labyrinthia to find the Staff of Magnus to defeat Ancano. But this is where my time here ends, and Ancano is left to rule the college forever. I took a carriage to Morthal, the closest town to Labyrinthia, and in the morning made my way to start the hunt. At some point recently, we've been given the Labyrinthia Talk. It's a door knocker looking thing that lets you open the way ahead. And the very first enemy we discover here will be a skeleton dragon. It's a fun and interesting one, as weak as it is. It rises from the mound surrounded by skeletons. I have a total of 22 bolts left for my crossbow. But we should be able to make this work. Picking off the skeletons around the beast first, trying to not miss any shots. I can confirm, not one shot was missed on the bone man. The dragon was up close and personal at this point, trying to sniff me out. I'm not sure if it's capable of sniffing anymore, but I snuck away to get to a better location to take down the monster. I got some high ground, and the fight was pretty disappointing. It took just 7 shots to take him down, and he didn't fight back, not even one bit. We don't even get a soul from this one's corpse, but we do get a nice view of his burial site. This is weirdly one of my favorite dragons in the game. It's surrounded by mystery. I wonder if there's any books in the game that talk about it. I want a more reliable way of getting crossbow bolts. The Drunken Huntsman in Whiterun sells them, but not all of the time, and it's not convenient having to check him every time I pass by to see if I can get a top up. And I don't really like doing the quick save and punch method all of the time. A guaranteed way to acquire the bolts is by getting access to the merchants at the Dawn Guard DLC, but there's none here yet. I also messed up coming here to progress the quest line, but I don't need to be here for the next part. I was told ages ago when I got my first crossbow here that I'm to go check out Dim Hollow Crypt to see what the vampires are looking for there. And that's all the way over by Morthal, on the other side of the freaking map. So I lost some time coming over here. I did check Whiterun at the halfway point for some bolts off the Drunken Huntsman. I've been coming here a lot between scenes trying to stock up, but it's just not cutting it for me anymore. I got some and went off to Morthal to see what's going on there. This is another questline I want to work through to slay a specific dragon, but I have no desire to complete the entire questline. One of the best things about this game is how you can play how you want and do what you want. I'm probably annoying some OCD people by dipping on the jobs, but I couldn't care less. Here's Dim Hollow Crypt. The vampires are looking for a powerful vampire called Sorana. Lydia started role-playing as a chess piece from Harry Potter. One of the most creepy bugs in the game, I'd say. Not sure if she could do damage like this, but I'd like to think she can. Sorana's the daughter of Lord Harken, a once mortal Nord, who feared death and looked for a way to combat it. Now he looks to combat the sun, with him now being a vampire. His daughter's locked up here with an Elder Scroll that will lead him to that prophecy. I, some reason, decide to help Sorana. The enemy, by the way. Get back to her family castle up behind Solitude on the water. I'm offered a reward. For returning his daughter, I'm offered to become a vampire lord like Harken. But I turned him down since I want access to the Dawn Guard's traders. and I don't want to deal with being a vampire. I was cast out and told I'm now prey if he sees me again. Returning to Fort Dawnguard, the fort's under attack by some bloodsuckers. We fend them off and get roasted by Isran for what we'd just done. Taking Serana home and delivering the Elder Scroll to Lord Harkon. But this is when Isran says we need help. I'm to go recruit some old friends of his to help the fight against the vampire menace, which I couldn't give a damn about, honestly. I'm just here for the crossbow bolts. And maybe Durnavir. Ooh, and that double dragon fight in that icy area later, in the Forgotten Vale. Let's start with Serene. The Breton was last seen over in the Reach, of all places. Serene's the one that'll trade us crossbow-related items. Gunmar might sell some bolts too, but Serene is the important one for us. She's researching dwarven stuff up here, I think, and she's lost her gyros. A mud crabs ran off with them, but you can avoid finding them for her if you pass the speech check, saying there's no time and to get back to Fort Dawnguard. I did pass, and we'll see her back there shortly. Gunmar's near Morthal, which is an area I've not seen him hiding out at much personally. Normally I find him more in the rift areas, so this makes a change for me. Gunmar's been tracking a bear for a long time and refuses to come back until he's got his prize. There's no speech check for this guy though. We have to help him out before he'll go back to the fort. The cave's bears living in here is very, very nearby. Oh my god, what? The cave the bear's living in is very nearby, is what I meant to say. It's called the Blood Cavern, and it's housing more than just one target. There's 4 bears in here, more than what we bargained for. And they were practically pushing me back out of the cave. After we killed them, there was more on the outer area, but I choose to not fight these ones and I left. Gunmar will now go with Serene to the fort, so we better head back. Isran is testing us to see if we're vampires ourselves. We all pass with flying colors. But one thing I not pass is an eyesight test. I'm knackered and need some rest. My screen's fuzzy, so let's get our head down before we go do some trading. I was right, and Gunmar will trade bolts, but there's nothing major. This time around, he sells a massive quantity of the basic bolts. But Serene has all of the fun stuff. Fancy bone mold bolts and other kinds to go along with them. I do rate this DLC very highly. Like, a lot, actually. I'll try not to do it in this video. But one cool thing that was added were the armored trolls. You can buy one from Gunmar, and I think they fit our character really well for a follower. They're short and kitted out with weaponry on their arms and will make a great hunting companion. Speaking of companions, Serana's here wanting to progress her tyrant father's death. We're to stop him by reading the scroll on her back and finding out how to handle this prophecy involving control in the sun. We should find a moth priest to help us read the scroll. I don't have the sight to do it myself, and neither does anyone else here in the fort. You can skip the gathering information on the moth priest stage and just go straight to where he's at if you know where to go. Passing by Dragon's Bridge and Solitude's area, following a blood trail coming from a broken down ransacked carriage, you'll find Fourbear's Holdout, a cave that's got a priest napping situation going on. Not sleeping, but like taking napping. Like a kidnap. You have to fight vampires to make it to the priest, who's been brainwashed and needs to be smacked around a little before he snaps out of it. After realizing what's going down, he's more than willing to come back to the fort to help the cause. There's not been a dragon kill for a while, but we're getting pretty close to taking down the zombie dragon called Durnavir. The only issue with playing in survival mode in this TLC is the distance between locations being so massive. Fort Dawnguard and the vampire's castle is like the furthest anything can be from each other in this game. So we lose a lot of time traveling and resting up. I ignored the priest and Isran at the fort to go get some rest. My vision's shot, but after some rest, the priest gives the scroll a read. A mistake he'll pay for later. But for now, we find out more about Harkon's prophecy. We learn about Auriel's bow being the key, or a key, to the prophecy, and that there's more info in 2 more scrolls. Both the dragon scroll from the main questline, and another somewhere else. Serana says her mum has the 2nd scroll. She took it and hid from Lord Harkon a while ago. We could go looking for her at the castle. We think she's hiding out in plain sight over there at a peaceful courtyard. So peaceful that her father would never go there. This is the kind of whiplash that kills our time. Another trip to the other side of the map to progress. When I made it to Solitude, I knew I had a long trip ahead of me, so I had to make sure I was well rested and fed before making it back to the castle. This is the quest where we get to challenge that dragon too. I'm not sure if we can kill it for real though. I'll explain later. For now, taking the boat over to the castle and a little path around the side to another entrance that's no longer in use. It used to be used to get supplies into the castle ages ago, but it's been abandoned and is now home to skeletons, feral zombies, and a heck ton of gargoyles. Some of the skeletons seem to have more health than that skeleton dragon we fought recently. This room was fun. All of the skeletons around the table are resting, and I could go around the table and just slowly take them down with one shot apiece. I've been wanting to do a run with a crossbow for ages now. Dragon Hunter feels like a good time to do it. They're much more powerful than bows, but the reload time, like I said earlier, is much slower. If we're hungry in survival mode, then reloading is made even slower. I made it to this room that's home to a portal to the Soul Cairn, where Serana's mum is probably hiding out. This place is awesome and houses trapped souls. It didn't take long to find a Mama Vampire and gain her trust. Her trust that we'll stop Lord Harkin. She says Serana's blood is another key to the prophecy. Her running away with the scroll was to keep Serana safe. Took down 3 massive bone keepers around the plane to lower the barrier between us and the mom. But before we could get the scroll, Durnavir, the zombie dragon, turns up to see what's going on. This guy is absolutely awesome looking. But surprisingly, I can't say the same about his health bar. It was going down so quick, I had to check my difficulty was on legendary still. Durnavir can't be slain by normal means, however. After he dies, he just disappears and just reconstitutes himself elsewhere. Either way, we grab the scroll capture. And while leaving, we spot the zombie dragon waiting to have a chat. I don't bother with the friendly interaction and take a shot to kill him again. I'm not sure this counts, but after I took him down a second time, he disappears and didn't show up again. He's not dead, but defeating him twice and turning down his words is enough for my character. I left the Soul Cairn through the portal and made my way back to the fort. I did spend some perk points, one on Sneak's 4th stealth, so we're now 35% harder to detect, and the other on Archery's 3rd critical shot, so we have a 20% chance to do 50% more damage with a critical hit. We have a problem, however. The Moth Priest didn't take proper precautions before reading the scroll, and has gone blind, and now can't read the new scroll for us we got from Serana's mum. He says we can get the second sight to read the scroll ourselves though. We need to go to a place called the Ancestors Glade to do so. Starting from Falkreath and going southeast, we get there very quickly. At first, it's a cave that doesn't look too impressive, but going deeper into the thing, you find a beautiful area housing a knife, a tree to scrape bark off, and plenty of moths to attract doing so. After getting enough moths to follow us around, we can stand in the light to get the second sight to read the scroll and see Auriel's bow's exact location. It's up near Solitude in a cave. Some vampires tried to crash and ruin the party, but I'm not having it. I shot the crap out of as many as I could before I left this cave and made a move towards the bow. Smack my flippin' elbow again. My setup's a little bit janky right now. I'm renovating, and I have my mic arm sat on a kitchen chair. And I've knocked my funny bone on this thing so many times. Here's me trying to, my first attempt at doing the intro earlier. This is my character called Freedom. He's a beaten and scarred Nord with bloodshot eyes. He doesn't get enough sleep and is up all night thinking about how he'll slay his next dragon. It was in Helgen where he fled through the street. Oh, I just hit my funny bone on a chair. Maybe a little bit quick getting up to Solitude. We do need to be around here, but I rested ready for a long journey. And when I made it to the cave we need to take to find the bow, I was concerned about my crossbow bolt supply. We have a good few still, but I really have no idea if what we have is enough. And I don't want to be nearly done with this to then not be able to continue and finish it. So I turned my butt back around with a plan to stock up. But spotted a dragon's burial mound I'd not been to yet. This dragon, however, totally had my number and was giving me a really hard time. I died more times than I could count and gave up. I'll be back for revenge later. Most of day 61 was lost due to travel and rest, I'm afraid. Not much to say about it. But day 62 was loaded with bolt purchasing. I got 200 steel bolts from Gunmar, and I took all of the random kinds of bolts from Serene I could. Now, we shouldn't have to worry about the trip to get into Auriel's bow. I don't plan on coming back here for anything but crossbow bolts going forward. Once I get through the next location, I'm done with the questline, and I'm ditching these guys and their fight against the vampires. The only reason I'm doing this part is to get to the twin dragon fight in the Forgotten Vale. After that, I'm done with these chumps. I'm back a few days after arriving at the cave for the first time, and I'm ready for whatever goes on here. This is one of my favorite locations in the entire game. You start off in the game being taken for a ride through some water tunnels. Then you get spat out the other end and are forced to fight some spiders. Shortly after, you meet a snow elf that has some beef with his brother, and he asks you to murder the crap out of him and go for a ritual filling this ewer, if that's how you say it, at a load of way shrines around the Forgotten Vale. There is a lot to do here, but I'm only interested in the dragon hunt. Twin water dragons live up there above the waterfalls, on this very ice field. They blast out of the ice together, and it's game on. They might look alike, but they don't seem to have a clue what the other's doing. And it's essentially two 1v1s. While one targets me, the other's off flying on the other side of the ice doing God knows what. I kept this one down with Dragon Rend, and took shots from some high ground just to the side of the ice. Twin number 1 is dead. One down, one to go. I remember seeing this encounter in a video before I played the DLC. And I can't explain how hyped I was to purchase the DLC afterwards. It's super easy to miss this fight in a playthrough, but I'd not recommend avoiding it. 10 minutes well spent, and the second one's dead. And the mission for coming here is complete. I did kill the Snow Elf's brother and got Oriel's bow, but all of that isn't important anymore. We won't be continuing this questline. I'm not sure what bug I'm currently experiencing, but it's an interesting one. I'm in a void. Sat on my invisible horse looking all spooky. I'm gonna have to reload a save to get out of this one. Maybe this is karma for not completing all of those quest lines. Now back to some dragon burial mounds to do some clearing. This next one I'm targeting is west of Windhelm. I'm a little worried because I think the next one I'm gonna go after is the one that owned the crap out of me previously. Some of these dragon burial mounds, if you go to them at the right time during the main quest line, you can witness Alduin doing the revival. Obviously, the World Eater is no longer with us, so we missed out on that. This one looks like a simple frost dragon, but what made it fun is he's off over there fighting a wolf. I'm doing the majority of the damage, but I bet that wolf, after this interaction, thinks he's the business, having just taken down a dragon all by himself. Right, let's try to tackle this Reachwater Pass mound better than the last time we were there. Another day lost due to travel. Day 65, there's not much to show. But day 66 is set to be a productive one. I rested and ate to make sure I was ready for the beast, and caught a glimpse of it heading over, but when I arrived, the gecko was nowhere to be seen. I hovered around its grave, hoping it would return. It can't have gone far. About 2 minutes later, the beast flew overhead, and caught a dragon rend for its troubles. I have no issue using some bait in the form of a follower. Hunters might use bait. A dragon hunter, I'd like to think, is no different. Serana won't leave me alone until her father's dead, so she's done this to herself. I'd prefer my troll here by my side, but this is what I'm stuck with if I don't want to fight Lord Harkin, which I don't. I really don't want to fight Lord Harkin. I've got bigger prey in my sights. This encounter went much smoother than the first time around, and I'm not done around here. There's a second dragon mound not far, according to the map. I really struggled to find the Ragnvald Vale mound. I looked for ages for this thing, circling around trying to spot the beast in the sky. Not all mounds can have dragons at them, and can be abandoned like I said earlier. But the wiki says this one's actively housing a beast. And there it is, an ancient dragon. And what's interesting is this one had the companions warriors here too. I felt ballsy with the werewolves around and got up close and personal with the thing, alongside the honorable warriors. But that was a mistake. The beast turns its attention to me, and turns me inside out quicker than Todd Howard can release Skyrim remakes. I returned for round 2, and this fight was 2-1 by the dragon. I don't want to talk about it much. But round 3 was mine. I danced around a tree casting Dragon Rend to keep the beast down between crossbow bolts. The companions have run off for some reason, but I didn't really need them. That's another dragon down. 9 checked off the map. I'm checking previously cleared mounds, I believe, today. I didn't start checking them off my map at the time I discovered them. There's a guaranteed dragon encounter at Calfspire during the main quest line like I talked about earlier. And it's because of this mound on the hill. to the side of the location. I do remember killing this dragon. I can't remember seeing the mound. I think I seen the mound. I still wanted to come here to triple check while marking them off. Another already cleared mound is the one by Rorikstead. This one was taken down ages ago. And you can thank me now, Rorikstead. I'm the reason this town's not burnt to the ground. And that's 11 of the mound's locations checked off the list. The rest of the day was spent doing some well-needed bartering, selling off loot I don't need anymore. The ultimate trophy is a dragon I'm nowhere near getting to take out of the sky. That's a legendary dragon, originally added in the Dawnguard DLC. And you need to be level 78 plus to have them start appearing. I'm never gonna naturally hit level 78 in 100 days. So we have to boost to get there. Trevor's Watch has a quest attached to it with a detect life spell as a reward for doing it. The spell is awesome for leveling up, so let's go get it. There's other ways to boost leveling, but this is how I want to do it. You just have to help these guys outside Trevor's Watch get access to the fort and help them clear it. I sneak in through a backdoor cave entrance and quietly pick off the bandits in here. I do find some dead bodies. These are loved ones of the people I'm helping, sadly. I'm just here for the book, though. I lowered the gate from the inside to allow the friendlies in and finished off the bandits on the outer area with them. Now we have the Detect Life spell, but we don't have a good enough magicka supply to cast it for long. Checked Riften's traders for an alteration enchant to disenchant and reuse, but I had no such luck finding one here. Radiant Raiment up in Solitude might be a better place to go looking for the enchantment. I did get one off the merchant here. Then I disenchanted it and added it to some other bits of gear to get a total of 100% cost reduction to alteration spells, meaning I can cast this sucker infinitely. The spell highlights, well, life, essentially. It's useful in the field, but it gives a lot of experience to alteration when using it. Even more so in well-populated areas like here in Solitude. Not sure if the dual casting perk grants more XP from the cast, but I'm about to get so many perk points to spend anyways, so these two to get the perk won't do much harm if it doesn't help level up faster. I didn't want to do this too soon in the playthrough because I didn't want to be too high a level and be swamped with harder enemies the entire 100 days. But now it's getting into the later end of the days, and I want to make sure I have enough time to get that legendary dragon hunted down. This also won't really make me too OP, since it's not up in my damage or defense. If anything, it'll make me weaker and make the run harder with the excessively high level we'll have compared to the damage and defense we have. I won't be using alteration outside of doing this. Some people might not like that I'm doing it, but I couldn't really give a rabbit's droppings. I kept an eye on the time, and it turns out it takes a little over 20 minutes to get from level 15 to level 100 in alteration doing this. You can then make the skill a legendary skill once it hits level 100 to reset it for further leveling. By day 71, I'm now level 56. Still 20 plus levels to go. I might break things up a little bit, so I'm not just doing this for hours on end. I'm not sure I have a place for all 21 perks to go either. Yeah, let's continue on with some more mound clearing. I'll do some more sitting around towns using Detect Life later. And I will use it in populated areas as I pass them, but there's a couple around the Saber Fields out front of Whiterun I want to hit up. If we follow the path from here west, we'll reach the Great Henge Mound. This one seemed empty. It says on the wiki, you can see a resurrection here, so there should be a dragon. But I sat around for a while and I couldn't see one. I did wander around to see if it got a little bit lost, but nothing. Maybe I've killed this one in passing already and not realized it from this mound. I'll check it off the list and move on northish from here to the Lone Mountain Mound. This one is home to an elder dragon. It thundered overhead as I rode by. With this one, I got mega high ground and watched it start beef with a giant in the distance. The perfect bait with a massive health bar for the dragon to work with. The dragon is strong though, so we have to keep on it. Casting Dragon Ren to help the giant out and firing my best bolts from the mountain. I got a very, very, very long distance cinematic kill that looked kinda silly with how far away the dragon was. It's dead, and so is my giant buddy. Your death wasn't for nothing. The world's a better place without that dragon. I'm off to Kynes Grove. Why? I have no idea. I know there's no dragon there, but I'm visiting all of the mounds still, even if I've cleared them. Paying my respects to the dragons I've already kicked the crap out of. This area is actually filled with mounds that are deserted. Bone Shrew Crest is nearby, and there is a dragon here. But I think it belongs to the word wall up there because the wiki says it's abandoned. I did kill that dragon. It was the weakest dragon I'd fought in ages, by the way. Considering my level, it was surprising. Witchmist Grove's mound is also a dragon ghost town. And Mazolf's foothills? Not a sky gecko in sight. We're nearing the end of these mounds. I hope there's still some good fighting to come. The wiki seems to only have one left in Skyrim that has a dragon living nearby, but we'll see what comes from our traveling. I'm not sure why this area is so empty of the beasts, but Falkreef's area is up next. Not many left in Skyrim, but there is some on the island of Solstheim to tackle when we're done, so it's not all sad, really. I was aiming for the Bile Gulch Ridge Mound, but I came across the active Evergreen Woods Mound first. And this one has an Elder Dragon wreaking havoc on the wildlife. Spriggans and bears getting involved with mine and Serana's fight made this fight relatively easy. I just shed a tear from my eyeball. The left one specifically, because that was the last one that has a dragon in Skyrim. According to the wiki, and assuming I've not missed anything anyways, which I probably have. I did find the Bile Gulch mound. No, this is a mushroom cult, but over here, the mound is definitely empty. Next one's near Helgen, but it's freezing up here, so it was a flying visit. I ran over the top, and that's enough for me. There's no dragon here to scout out, so there's no need to stick around long. Now finally, over to the Rift area. There's one not far from Trevor's Watch where we went to get that Detect Life spell. I'm not expecting anything at these last few ones, but again, I want to pay a visit to all of them. I'd think a dragon hunter would check them all out to be sure, so I'm doing the same thing. The wiki could be wrong, of course. There was, as expected, no dragon at the Autumn Watch site though. But Serana did give me a fright, acting like some Harry Potter chess pieces like Lydia did earlier. What? I love this bug. Now for the last one. Over by Lost Tongue Overlook lies the final dragon burial mound marked on my map. It's bittersweet getting them all checked out. I'm happy to be done, but I'm also sad the journey's over. This is something I've wanted to do in Skyrim for a long time, and it does feel good getting to do it now. But that's it. The last mound is empty and deserted. There's no dragon here, and I'm back to grinding out alteration for levels, making that push to level 78 to get legendary dragon spawns. My screen's constantly a mess with not sleeping or eating while doing this. I'm only sleeping an hour occasionally to see what level I'm at. I did dump a load of perk points into the trees I'm using in this run. I just took everything I'm able to, honestly. This is going to be the highest level I've ever been in a video for sure. And yes, I'm not really at the screen here. I have some wire cutters sat on my mouse buttons. Though some reason my character kept lowering his hands, cancelling the spell. Not sure why, but sleeping did help that. I didn't know that was a thing. It's day 79. Day 79 and I'm still going. Alteration has hit legendary status 12 times. And I'm level 70 pre-sleep. Shouldn't be too long now. We'll have about 20 days left to find that legendary dragon when all's said and done. I made it! Made it to level 78. I'd like to thank me for getting me this far. I want to rest, but I think we better go to where we want to go before doing it, since I'm shattered anyways. Dragon mounds aren't the only thing I want to track down. There's actually dragon lairs in the game I've not touched on at all yet. I'm starting in Falkreef. There's a dragon lair not far from where a mound was located recently. That one I barely looked at because it was stone cold on a mountain. Oh my word! Is that a legendary dragon up there? I can't see crap. The outline kinda looks like one though. I really want to rest and eat to be able to see it, if that is one. Hopefully, it'll still be here afterwards. Oh my god, it actually is one. This is incredible. I've not seen a legendary dragon at all since I've started this YouTube channel. This guy looks awesome. He has a lot of health and does so much damage. It's a bloodbath here. There's people dying left and right. Making sure to use my best bolts, but I didn't notice. I had my alteration gear on this entire fight. It would have gone down easier if I wasn't being stupid, but here we are. This is in my top 3 dragons for sure. It's these guys, the Revered Dragons, and the Lord of the Rings Dragonborn DLC dragons for me. The fight went on for a long time, and I really wanted the last hit in case the achievement wouldn't pop if the kill was stolen. So I was patient, timing that final bolt, taking the beast down. The ultimate prize is mine. And he dropped some Daedric boots. Man, Let's keep moving. Dragon lairs have both a dragon and a word wall at them, and are easily spotted while traveling by looking at the compass and seeing a dragon's head symbol. This was the easiest fight I'd had in a long time. A basic dragon that didn't even put up a fight. That was the Ancient's Ascent lair. The Autumn Watch Tower lair is really cool by Iverstead, with towers to traverse and use during the assault. But the dragon landed in an awkward to reach location, and it fought something that took it down for me. These all seem like basic dragons at this point, but we'll see how things go. Kinda disappointing, something stole my kill. Pretty sure I got the one at the springs looking area out front of Windhelm. I bet my life on it actually. I went mound hunting not long ago and found no dragons at the mounds, but the Bone Crest Lairs dragon came on over while I was grave robbing, and he paid for it. I still checked and took the word of power, but no dragon to slay at this one. There's a lair near Markarth called Dragon Tooth Crater. Let's go see that. The companions are around again, but they sadly won't be any help in this one. I crept up on the lair and took a look at the beast awaiting us. An ancient dragon staring right through my soul. I took a shot, aiming between his stupid little eyeballs, and it's go time. The area is charred like you wouldn't believe, but there's a tower still standing to take refuge in during the fight. I scaled the tower and hid in a nice position on top where the dragon couldn't reach me, and I just spammed Dragon Rend to keep him grounded between shots. He's dead, and that's 4 lairs explored. But spoilers, the next one's gonna be a problem. Elder's Blood Peak between Whiterun and Morthal has a frost dragon, which is nowhere near as tough as a legendary dragon. But the location is not ideal, and is gonna work against me. I kept Dragon Rending him as I climbed up to the lair. But he has the high ground and got the better of me not once, not twice, but 3 times total. But I did gain altitude, and my bait got his attention, letting me pop off from the side to take him down. That guy had my number, but in the end, I'm walking away with his soul as my prize. The Rifts do yet another visit. Lost Tongue Overlook to the south of Riften City has a soul gem trap guarding it that's killed me more times than I'd care to admit. But not this time. Not today, soul gem. This dragon's day is today though. It's its day to die. The last frost dragon had my number, but this one had not a single digit in its arsenal. It's murdered hastily, and I'm off to the next one very, very quickly. This one I'm walking into unaware of how much trouble it could be. Near Winterhold is Mount Anthor, but I don't know how you say it. But I was so cold getting there, I had to seek shelter in this hole in the ground called Sightless Pit. I expected Falmer, and I did find warmth inside, in the form of a campfire and some sleeping bags. I can't remember ever coming to this location, like ever. If I have, then it was like one time, and I don't remember it. This place is epic, and full of Falmer as expected, but sneaking by the blind elves is easy, and I snuck through not catching any aggro at all. Oh my god, it's a legendary dragon. In a very, very cold location. The time of day isn't good for this fight at all. It's getting late, so it's impossible to avoid the weather. And the dragon, it turned me into mush far too quick for my liking. So I went back into that hole. There's no easy way back, and there's no shortcut home. But one thing Rocky has that I don't is a loss to Mr. T. I got warm and had to go back through the location to make it back out. And when I did make it out, it's much warmer now, but the legendary dragon is still no joke. Thankfully, my bait's here catching the aggro, and I can stay back, taking shots from the side. We just have to keep an eye on Serana's health bar so his sights aren't set on me all of a sudden. But that didn't happen, and I ate the legendary dragon like a Snickers bar. The list of lairs I'm totally not following is all over the place, by the way. I'm getting whiplash flying all over the map. Sidestep the dragon's frost breath at Northwind Summit. Only to get flippin' snatched out of a small house. The jerk cheated, and I'm dead. I'm back! Frost dragon. I'm picking out, taking a shot, and going back in. Rinse and repeat until the lizard goes down. I'm not sure a dragon had me more beat than the one at Sheer Point. A very basic form of dragon that took the record, killing me a total of 4 times. It was probably the angle I approached, and my approach in general being a little bit messy. There's just one lair left in Skyrim, and it's at Skyborn Altar. Had some things to sell, It's long overdue with my large inventory space now through boosting letting us carry a boatload of things. I traded with the Whiterun traders and did take a carriage back to Riften so we can hit up Fort Dawnguard because I want more bolts. And I want to see if Serene has any Dragonbone crossbows for sale. We're not getting Smithin to level 100 to be able to make the Dragonbone stuff ourselves, so if we're going to get one, we'll have to rely on traders. I don't care if we don't get one, but it would be cool to get. Sadly, she didn't have any for sale today, but I did buy a new Daedric crossbow and get it improved at the workbench to superior quality. Nothing crazy, but it's a nice little bit more damage than what we were working with. With that, it's now time for the last dragon lair. From the town of Morthal, I headed east, but instantly turned my butt back around because it's cold as heck and I'm not making it through the night up here. This one's the one that I believe ended my only hardcore run that went over 100 days. It wasn't the dragon that did it, but rather the mountain surrounding it. Full damage in this game sucks like you wouldn't believe, but this dragon's days are as numbered as my hardcore run. Here's Skyborn Altar. I took a shot, and the dragon flew off faster than I've ever seen one move. Dragon Wren's making the jerk land away from me, and it's not convenient in the slightest. Oh, I got him down. Now to not let him take off again. Took me ages to get him down here. I can confirm its days of flying are behind it. I tried giving Serana some flying lessons. She doesn't seem to appreciate it though. And that's all of the lairs hunted. Skyrim's dragon supply is running dry. But there's another island keeping dragons from me. You can travel to the island of Solstheim by boat at the Windhelm docks by talking to Salt Sage, the captain here. He won't want to take you, but can either be persuaded by a speech check or purse of coin. There's one dragon lair here, and 2 dragon burial mounds to check out. Let's see if we can clear the island in just one day. It shouldn't be too hard. First up is the lair somewhere around here on the island. It's somewhere at the top, that's all I know. You go there during the main quest line here, and this is a very cool serpentine dragon. A Lord of the Rings style sky gecko. This place is called Searing's Watch, and it's riddled with undead too, making the fight with the dragon a little bit awkward. But we can work this in our favor, forcing the dragon to land with Dragon Rend in the Draugr-infested area to then get smacked around by the zombies itself. I did get the last shot on the dragon, but I'm not claiming that one's soul. It's too far away. Knowing its life is mine is all I need. At these islands on the map is the first dragon mound. The waters around the islands are cold, but you can survive by awkwardly jumping your way across like this. I genuinely wasn't sure if the dragon could even land on the island. It kept flying off when I tried to dragon rend it, and it just wouldn't land here for the longest time. It burnt me up more times than I can count. It got me about 2 times, if you could believe it. It did land, and it did die. But it was an interesting one, being trapped on a tiny speck of land. Last one was in the middle of Solstheim. Solstheim's not hard to travel from one side to the other. It's a really small island in Skyrim, really. Finding the final dragon mound didn't take long. Neither did slaying the beast. And that's all of the mounds and lairs housing dragons slain. Hopefully. Fingers crossed I didn't miss one. I returned to Skyrim, but I feel like a retired dragon hunter. The skies feel empty, and I have no direction. The mounds are checked, the lairs are cleared, the world's been saved from Alduin. I've took down a ton of optional dragons. I'm not sure where we're heading next with the last 8 days. I wandered looking for random dragon spawns, but I didn't find anything today. I went to eat my feelings at Solitude, stocking up on fish from the market here. Just birds in the sky. There's no geckos. No sky geckos, making me sad. I went to buy out Serene once more of her crossbow bolts, but I had no idea what to do with them. But then I remembered there's more named dragons on the island of Solstheim. One turns up during the main questline here, in the hunt for Mirak, spewing Mirak propaganda. There's more dragons right at the very end of the questline too when you challenge Mirak. But those kills, I believe, belong to Mirak. He uses their souls to heal up during the fight, so I'm not gonna bother with those ones. I'm heading for Mirak's temple to see what's going on. The area is littered with dragon skeletons. This place looks as dragon-free as the main Skyrim map. I met with someone called Freya to progress the main questline. I really don't care what Mirak's up to. I have my sights on that smack-talking dragon. We have to fight through Mirak's temple, taking down his cultists, and the undead Draugr resting inside. I am fighting the enemies at the start of the dungeon, but I did fight the enemies at the start, but I moved to just sneaking by all of the undead. Ultimately, this place leads you to a black book. The book takes you to the realm of Mirak's hiding out at. He tells me how I can await his arrival like the rest of Tamriel. But little does he know, I'll never witness his arrival. I got sent back out of the realm and went to talk to Frey's villagers' leaders about Mirak. Sleeping on Solstheim is weird. Mirak has a hold on the island, and everyone here is restless. I ended up in a random location working on one of Mirak's structures for him when I woke up. Saring's watch has a shout we needed to progress and free people from the hold over them. I missed the shout when I killed the serpentine dragon earlier. I swooped in and got the shout without killing the Draugr I left alive previously. Then used that Bendwill shout to clear the windstone of the lurker, putting everyone to work. Stone's happy I've been helping and says I should talk to Neloth in the big mushroom on the island if I want to locate another black book and find Mirak. Rolled on over past the ash field to the mushroom and talked to Neloth about the black books. He says there's one in the sunken dwarven ruins near this location. I went on over with Neloth and Serana. This is where we can fight that dragon I mentioned, the smack-talking one at the end of the location. He turns up after this area is being gone through. The black book's accessible if we faff around with the tech inside to get it out of the sealed chamber it's locked in. The ruins are underwater, and you need to use cubes to traverse around here and find more cubes. Anyway, I'm just here for that dragon. I did get to and through the black book, even talking to Harmeus Mora, and getting his help progress in dealing with Mirak. But afterwards, when leaving the dwarven ruins, I was met by the last named dragon we'll fight in the video. This is Crossulha. I don't know how to say any of these names. This fight was an outright assault on this thing. It was me, Serana, Serana's reanimation, Neloth, and Neloth's Stormatronach. The fight took less than a minute. It was intense, close combat carnage, and a lot of fun for the last unique dragon. It was fun while it lasted. I'm trying to decide which of all of the towns I traveled to that I get the most dragon spawns from. I'm thinking Falkreath. I always get attacked at Falkreath. I arrive there to a dragon attack about 50% of the time, it feels like. Oh, and there's one here. An elder dragon. This was chaos. Bodies flying, carts going all over the place, fire being thrown about. I was staggered getting the final blow. The dragon didn't leave the ground after the initial touchdown. It worked the first time, so I'm thinking about trying the carriage travel method again, but with the other cities that don't have walls like Dawnstar and Morthal, for example. But I do get a lot of dragon attacks at Riften too, so let's try that place first. Looks quiet. Looks quiet. They normally fly in from over in that area. I hung out inside the walls for a while. Dragon attacks can happen past the loading screen in here too, and go down inside the city walls, but I had no such luck today. Let's try dropping by Dawnstar and Morthal next. Nope, skies are clear here too. At least it feels good that my dragon hunting journey has made it feel like the skies are a little bit safer traveling around. Went by horseback to Morthal. I thought maybe we could spot something on the way, but not a soul to eat in sight. I'm feeling like retirement might be on the table for us after all. I can confirm my dragon hunting days are over. And the perfect place to end my adventure is at the throat of the world, salivating over Odahviing flying around the peak. I'm happy with what we got up to, and I had an absolute blast with this one. Let me know if there's anything I missed or that you think I should have done in the video. You guys take care, and I'll see you around.